You know, and that's what they're really upset about.
Yeah, and I think,
In the meeting to order, the organizational meeting for 2017 to order. Roll call, Brennan.
here.
Sharpen is excused. Dahoff.
Here.
Halfway.
Here.
King.
Here.
Kulzer.
Here.
Mowerhand. Here. Mosher.
Here.
Fawcett.
Here.
Tabo.
Here.
Nominations from the floor are now in order for a temporary chair.
Brian Mosher. I'll second.
Are there any other nominations from the floor? If not, I would call for a motion to close the polls and direct that one ballot be cast for Brian's legislative Mosher's appointment as temporary chair.
So moved.
And could I have legislators Craig Brennan and Greg Kulzer to escort Brian to the chair?
Is this where we hold on? Is this where we hold hands?
Don't drift.
Thank you, gentlemen. You're welcome. Can you resist?
Okay, could we please stand for our invocation? Lord, we thank you for this evening. We look upon you to help us with our reorganization and the start of a new year as our county government. We ask that you bless us in the ways that you have in the past, open all of our minds, help us understand each other. Lord, we pray for all those that aren't as fortunate as what we are. If we could please have a moment of silence for those who have passed since the last meeting. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I now have any nominations for permanent chair? Jerry?
I nominate.
Do I have a second? Craig Brennan, second. And all in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? No nays? Could I please have Legislator Fawcett and Legislator Moorhan please escort Mr. Table to the chair?
No one get away with
Thank you, Andrew.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you, Brian.
Start one of my stickers.
This time I'd ask for nominations for vice chair. Okay.
I nominate Larry Delro.
Okay, second? Second by Rocky.
That is your resolution in your packet. It's got to be done by resolution, and so that is in there,
Okay, we'll make it formal then.
okay?
All right. We have a few votes I'd like to go over. I'd just like to thank you for your vote of confidence and re-electing me for board chair. I think we're on the verge of accomplishing some great things for this county, some things that previous boards could only dream about. We've always capitalized on natural resources in the county, biomass, hydro, wind. Now we're talking of a solar array. We've always looked for educational opportunities in Lewis County. Many years we've discussed how we could get some sort of college into the county, and it looks like a real dream come true now. We're working so closely with JCC. I think that the possibility is very likely that we could have courses there right in our county, in our own buildings by this fall. The Kraft Heinz expansion, industrial park, the cleanup of the Lions Falls mill site, broadband coming to the county. The significance of all these actions today will be felt for generations to come. And I look around the room and I see all the people that were involved in making this dreams come true. And I think we have a lot of confidence in the people in this room that worked so hard and brought it all together. And I want to congratulate you right now for all the work you've put into it, and just keep up the pace, because there's a lot more follow-up that we have to go through with yet. So typically there's no changes in committee assignments mid-year, and because everyone does such a great job where they are now, I will propose that everyone stays the same on their committees as they are now. So with that, I again thank you for your support, and wish all well for the coming year. Now we'll go on with the regular business. Everyone should have got a copy of the December 20 meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections at this time? Not, minutes stand approved. Report of the Rules and Legislation Committee for Rules 6. Terry?
The Rules and Legislation Committee has met, and they recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions this evening.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Go to privilege of the floor. Anyone for privilege of the floor at this time? Probably a good time to call on you, Michelle. You passed around the flyer to talk about an upcoming meeting. Could you care to explain it a little?
So on Friday, January 13th, we have been, cooperative extension was requested to set up a meeting for dairy farmers to have an opportunity to talk with elected officials. So this is your federal, state, and county officials, which is you folks sitting in the room here. I did have a discussion with Mike Taball and Liz about this. And so it is on Friday, January 13th from 10 to 12. It will be at the Lowville Fire Hall. You received an invitation for that. It is an opportunity for farmers, the dairy farmers, to have 2 minutes to talk. And then there's a time for questions at the end of the meeting. Brian Taball from Lowville Producers will give sort of an overview of the dairy industry, where it's at right now and what's going on. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the pricing of milk, where the dairy industry is at. Peggy Murray, our farm business management person, has done a good job, I think, of trying to keep Liz and some of the legislators up to date on what's happening with the pricing. Greg is dealing with it all the time in his job, and it's something that we're well aware of what's going on. So this is a good opportunity for you to hear from the folks in your region, your district. We are already getting lots of people signing up to be at this event. So, but we've encouraged them to come with thoughts and suggestions on what are constructive ideas within it, so that they're not just coming and talking about it, but what are constructive thoughts about this. And so that's really important. If I could change the price of milk and how it's priced at the federal level, that would solve a lot of things, but it's not a simple thing. It's not simple at all. It's an issue across the whole country, and it's a worldwide issue. So you have that invitation. I hope that you will be able to join the dairy farmers here in Lewis County, and I know we'll be having some probably from that are on the edge of Lewis County join us. So, and Farm Bureau will be there, and some folks from Cornell.
Michelle, I'd like to add our conversation. I asked you how many people you were hearing from. I didn't know how widespread it was affecting farmers around the county. I didn't know if it was just my own case or what. But anyhow, I said, are you getting lots of calls? And she said, yeah, several. And I said, 5 or 6? She said, probably in the last few weeks, about 50 or 60.
Yes, I mean, it's a very serious issue. And I mean, we are talking farmers who are selling a cow at the market and so that they can buy groceries for their family. That's how serious we're talking. So they are selling a cow so that they can go and, buy the groceries that they need to feed their family. These are people who are supplying the milk that you folks buy at the grocery store. I mean, that's how serious this is. I mean, and yes, we have some large farms in this county. They're all family farms, and some of them are very big. But we have a lot of middle-sized farms, and we have a lot of small farms in this county. And this is not just, it does not just affect Lewis County. This is something that affects the whole state, the region, and I mean, it's something that, certainly the Ag Commissioner, Richard Ball, is well aware of. The folks down who are doing the dairy pricing and, dealing with dairy issues. I mean, I was just at a meeting, we were talking about this. This is not something that's just affecting us, but we are a rural county, and agriculture is your mainstay, and it affects a lot of people. And I will say to you that Mike and Liz have been very, very good. Brian comes to our meetings, he hears the farmers, he hears what's going on, and they've certainly heard, my concerns of, what's out there. But it's not something, I mean, none of you are going to wave a magic wand and fix it overnight. But there is dairy farmers who would like you to listen to their concerns. And so they have come, they have talked to us several times, and have asked for this meeting. But again, I've asked them, they need to be constructive thoughts about what, could happen.
Thanks, Michelle. Anyone else for privilege of the floor? Okay, presentation of communications and notices, Jerry.
Legislators have designated the Watertown Daily Times as the Board of Legislators' official newspaper for 2017. All legislators have received copies of Glenn Gagne's update report in the Krogan Dam Restoration Project, the 12/8, 12/23, and 12/30 highway audit reports, the 12/7, 12/23, and 12/30 solid waste audit reports, and minutes of the December 21 Youth Bureau Advisory Board meeting. Also, the Fire and Emergency Management Director, Robert McKenzie, has informed his appointment of Richard Ross, Gary Ashline, Robert Bellinger, Joseph Shue, Richard DeFone, and Father Chris Carrara as Deputy Fire Coordinators for 2017. And that,
Thank you, Terry. And now the reports of county officers and departments, Terry.
that's it. They're in there.
Okay. We go to reports of standing committees. Phil, it's back to you again on the Ways and Means.
Here we go, Mike. The maintenance department had a record number of work orders this year, 1,149. And the Youth Bureau sent a nice letter of thanks to the maintenance department for all their help on the homeless tree. And obviously that was a huge success, and the maintenance department helped with the sorting of it and like that. So they sent a very nice letter of thanks. There has been concerns about the front door, about people leaving, and while the door is still open, other people could get in, and apparently have. So the front door, the proposal is that the front door have an alarm like the side door does, and during the day everybody will have to go in and out of the courthouse. If, if you don't agree with that, please say something, because apparently people have gotten in while the door was still open, and so it didn't alarm, and that could be an issue, safety issue for us. We had to put a new furnace in the highway garage body shop. The roof, the entry roof over the DMV handicap part is not done yet, but the plans have been approved, so that is imminent. Frank Pace gave us an update on the solar program, the clean energy, which we're rapidly achieving our goals on that, and also JCC. If Frank Pace keeps going, we're probably going to have to add on to the building before we build the building. With the contacts he's making, and the latest is with Fort Drum, which there'll be a meeting this month on that. One of the things that Jerry King is always had a problem with, and the rest of us too, is excuse me, the substantial amount of money that we pay for the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. And obviously you probably saw it in the paper where St. Lawrence County brought this up. And so we looked into it, and just since 2013, Lewis County has paid $70,000. And apparently what happened in 1994, they were given permission, they being the Fashion Institute of Technology, to charge counties for tuition fees, a portion of it. And as a part of that, the state was going to pay a portion of that. Now, Larry, this will come as a big surprise to you, but they've never put it in the budget. They approved it happening, that FIT can bill us, but they never put in the budget to pay their portion of the tuition. And again, you know, that's a substantial amount of money that we're paying, and obviously if you saw the paper, St. Lawrence County paid a whole bunch of money. So I'm just bringing that up as information, I guess, but if St. Lawrence County would care to further that, I would encourage us through Joan to include ourselves in even litigation if we need to. It just isn't right. It's just another one of those things, you know. We will be talking to, in the future, we're going to talk to some engineering firms just to get their capabilities, and so we might be prepared for things coming up and that type of thing. So we'll do an RFP out on that, just as an informational thing at this point. The courthouse parking lot, as you folks probably have seen, is sometimes it gets very crowded, and it kind of got out of hand on us giving away the access badges. So we're going to, because we have an agreement with the courthouse, we're going to have to pare back on some of them. It won't affect department heads or like that, but it kind of insidious. It got to where we had much more than what we made an agreement with the courthouse on. I don't see it affecting anybody in this room other than the reporters, and we don't want them in anyway. So.
Way to go. That'll right up real nice.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry guys, not all of us feel that.
And Liz has done a whole bunch of work on the enterprise thing, and we are at the point now that we've already in the past, we've authorized the agreement. So Liz is narrowed in and ran it by the Ways and Means of how she wants to approach it for the near term in 2016, so, or excuse me, 17. So that's been done, and Chairman Taybald has been given the agreements to sign. One of the cars will be an electric car, and that's part of that clean energy program that we had to get one of the 10 points that we had to have an electric car, and we wanted to try it anyway. So, so we will have an electric car. I don't know if Liz has assigned that to Chairman Tebow yet or not, but,
I was wondering if you'd make an 80-mile round trip without charge.
50.
So you don't want me back then?
And the only other thing, I do have something for other business, but the only other thing for my report is, our meeting is in the calendar for the 24th, and we want to make it the 31st, so it'll be the last Tuesday of the month, and that would be my report.
Thank you, Phil. Rocky, Social Service, South Asian Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report from the Department of Social Services. Today, January 3rd, is the opening of the emergency heat. If you are eligible, the emergency heat benefit can help you heat your home if you are in a heat or heat-related emergency. Emergency heat benefits and eligibility are based on income, available resources, and the type of emergency. If you have an emergency, you must contact the Lewis County DSS at 376-5400 for assistance. You may be eligible for an emergency heat benefit if your electricity is necessary for your heating system or thermostat to work and is either shut off or scheduled to be shut off, or your electric or natural gas heat is off or scheduled to be shut off, or if you are out of fuel, or if you have less than 1/4 of a tank of fuel oil, kerosene, or propane, or less than a 10-day supply of wood pellets, corn, and other deliverable heat source. And you meet the income guidelines outlined on the Lewis County Department of Social Services Facebook page or the OTDA website. The Lewis County Department of Social Services is mandated through emergency regulations to shelter any person that has no place to stay when it is below 32 degrees, including the wind chill factor. The public deserves to contact the department at 376-5400 during business hours or DSS on-call worker at 376-3511 after hours if they know of any person that is living outside and is in danger. All local law enforcement agencies and Lewis County General Hospital are aware of this regulation and are assisting the department as needed. And I need to make a motion. Is this the time to do that? I need to name, on behalf of DSS, a motion to authorize DSS Commissioner Jennifer Jones to refill one full-time caseworker position effective immediately due to a resignation.
Okay, moved by Rocky, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Rocky. Brian, county officers, veterans, junkyard, HR.
I have nothing new to report, but I see we have a couple late resolutions, which I lost my emails on my phone today, so I wasn't able to read them. I was just kind of glancing through them, like, we really need to discuss these resolutions when they come out.
You will then. Thank you. Jerry, courts and law.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I'd like to do is make a motion to authorize County Attorney Joe Maples to fill the Assistant County Attorney position effective immediately, and I make that as a motion.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Larry, economic development.
No report, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay. Craig, taxation.
Nothing to report.
Greg, transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, December's committee meeting, went over the equipment plan for the highway department, and they're going to go out to bid and purchase a dump truck for 2017. That was set up. I think everybody got a copy of 5-year plan. And then they're gonna keep the 1982 GMC Tandem. It's got a lot of miles on it. They're going to keep that for recreation to use to haul the dozer and stone as needed. The new tandem plow is in, and it's over at Viking, getting the plow installed, so that should be here this month, actually. And there is a resolution in here for the deputy superintendent's position to be replaced when Stan retires. And that's coming up. And that's all I have for you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Dick has been excused. Does anybody have any report from the hospital at this time? Okay. Andrea, Public Health, Community Service.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to authorize Penny Ingram to travel to Seattle, Washington for the National Council on Behavioral Health's Public Health Officials TA and Training Program from March 31st through April 5th, 2017. All expenses except an estimated $115 for meals will be covered by the National Council.
Moved by Andrea, seconded by Rocky. Discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Penny reviewed the preschool billing, Medicaid billing system. The state has dropped the contract with the company that provided the Medicaid billing, leaving all preschool programs to find another way to bill Medicaid. Penny and her staff are reviewing the options. Public Health is monitoring a potential pertussis outbreak. And that's it for Public Health. And for Community Services, the North Country Initiative has been working with Dr. Manning and Lawville Medical Associates to install chronic care managers in their primary care offices. Brenda Hauser and Erica Mosier will be working out of the Medical Associates. Gina Hobart and Jennifer Menny will work out of Dr. Menny's office. These positions are intended to help patients with chronic health conditions stay connected with their physician, keep appointments, and help them manage their conditions. Telemedicine or telehealth initiatives allow rural patients to visit their local hospital, health center, private practice, or clinic and speak to a medical specialist elsewhere in the state using a secure video conferencing technology. In the North Country, there are more than 90 hospitals, provider offices, and other healthcare professionals actively engaged in telemedicine. The North Country Telehealth Partnership is pleased to announce that more than 1,700 teleconference patients encounters have been recorded across Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties in the past 3 years. More than 1,300 of those appointments occurred during this year alone, when telemedicine appointments jumped from 40 in 2014 to 315 in 2015. All these services are intended to help patients get the right care at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. County Manager Report, Liz.
I'm good.
Nothing. Okay.
Anybody else?
Patty, Treasurer Report.
Okay, I'll just give you my end of year balances. Special legislative contingency ended with a balance of $229,874. Contingency ended with $57,462.32. Capital data processing, $126,248.16. Capital equipment, $260,778.80 for county, and highway, $68,067.13. Sales tax, we are at our budget, and we're doing well. Phil likes to say that I went out and did my part and spent enough for Christmas so that we did, meet our goal.
And we thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. Hospital is on target with their payments. They are at their $2.4 million for the end of the year. And Internal Service Fund had a loss for November. So we are still not doing as well as we should be. As you can see, the fund balance is still not growing like it should be. And that's it, if they have any other questions.
Patty, other than the ISF and sales tax, these are pretty much the final numbers, like the capital accounts and like that?
Right, the capital accounts are at the final numbers for December, right? Yep,
For the year?
for the year.
Great,
Right.
thanks.
Any other questions for Patty? Okay. And for my report, just a comment, I'm sure everyone's heard by now, the governor has vetoed the pitch to have the state take over indigent defense. It was in Friday, and Joan alerted me to the fact that there was some trouble going on, so both of us made calls. Turned out they put us right through to the governor's chambers, but pleaded to no avail, so I'm not sure what the recourse is. From what I've read, St. Lawrence County Attorney is very upset about it and promises to do some litigation if there's no compromise or other solution, and maybe that's something that we could consider joining if it comes to that. So, good. Okay.
I also heard that there's 5 counties in the state of New York that don't pay for that he pays for it.
That's in the settlement. That was the basis of the other counties trying to get this legislation passed because the state settled the lawsuit that those 5 counties brought for indigent legal services.
So do you think we would be successful if we litigated with them?
Well, they'll have to address it, and I think what the governor is trying to do is parcel out just the criminal indigent legal defense from family court matters. That's the sense that I got from the statement that he made when he vetoed the legislation. So,
Well, that would be less costly to him.
yeah. So I will speak with Steve, and maybe the North Country will win a lawsuit.
When did they
Those 5 counties, are they in the southern part of the state?
No, they're all over. It's Onondaga. Onondaga's in it.
Washington's in our inter-county group.
Yeah, Suffolk County, I forget the other 2, but they're all across the state.
When did they actually live up to keeping the promises they made to us? I mean, I can list quite a few that they said it was going to happen, and it still hasn't happened. So, I mean, I think, me personally, we need to start turning the lines over and see what we can do.
The discouraging part was that this bill had passed the Assembly and the Senate, and they had full support from both parties.
It was unanimous, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Look at
Yeah.
the promise of the tax cut.
Is there any movement to do an override?
Yes.
I hadn't heard
There's an
that,
article,
but-
did you read the article about Griffel?
No.
Well, they're talking about possibly an override of the veto. And there seems to be, they said don't expect a budget on time this year, because that's going to be part of it in the discussion. But also, we have coming up the NISAC conference, and I'm certain that there's not a county out there that wouldn't support some kind of litigation to bring it to his attention that you just can't keep putting this burden on the local taxpayer with mandates and not funding it in some fashion. But they're talking about, in the news, the news, it seems to be a movement that they're going to take all discretionary spending away from the governor if they can. So there won't be any more of this regional economic development money that he passes out at his discretion. So we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
Well, he's got the attention of some powerful people.
Okay. Guess we can move along. We go to the report of the Ways and Means Committee for Rule 7.
The Ways and Means Committee reports they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $515,916.09 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amounts claimed.
Moved by Brian, second by Craig. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The first resolution then is to audit and allow the claims, total amount of $515,916.09.
Moved by Jerry, second by Phil. Roll call, please, Jerry.
Brennan,
Yes.
Chartrand, absent. Dahlhoff,
Yes.
Hathaway,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Mowerhand,
Yes.
Mosher,
Yes.
Fawcett,
Yes.
Tebow.
Yes.
Adopting the standing rules of board for 2017.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Reference to Vice Chairman of Lewis County Board of Legislators to appoint Legislator Dahlhoff.
Moved by Jerry, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving the form in the amount of a blanket undertaking covering officers, clerks, and employees of Lewis County.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Waiving the need for a surety bond on the part of the Chairman of the Board of Legislators.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing members to Community Mental Health, Developmental Disabilities, and Alcoholism Services Board.
Moved by Rocky, second by Brian. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appoint member to the Alcohol and Substance Abuse Subcommittee of the CSB.
Moved by Brian, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appoint member to Alcohol and Substance Abuse Subcommittee of CSB.
Moved by Larry, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between the county and Fredo Community Center for Treatment of Addictions.
Moved by Brian, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appoint member to Mental Health Subcommittee of CSB.
Moved by Andrea, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appoint member to Mental Health Subcommittee of the CSB.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreements between county community services and Mountain View, Oneida Lewis, Nysark, and Nurgle.
Moved by Larry, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing local tenants agreement between Community Services and One Path Career Partners.
Moved by Phil, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Community Services and Rubenzahl, Knudsen and Associates.
Moved by Jerry, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Community Services and Transitional Living Services.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Community Services and Transitional Living Services.
Moved by Rocky, second by Larry. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Community Services.
Moved by Phil, second by Andrea. Discussion. Jerry.
Is this a new contract, or we always been paying them that kind of money?
No, this is the same exact amount we paid every year, we just missed it in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between District Attorney and Kevin Edmonds.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between District Attorney and Mark A. Tuttle.
Moved by Larry, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing Fire Advisory Board and providing for payment of allowable expenses.
Moved by Phil, second by Larry. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
To extend authorization to Canna RX as Lewis County Health Insurance Plan vendor.
Moved by Larry, second by Brian. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Number 22 has been withdrawn. 23, authorizing intermunicipal agreement for shared services highway maintenance.
Moved by Jerry, second by Larry. Discussion. All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between General Hospital, Occupational Medicine, and Highway.
Moved by Phil, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Transportation Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Human Resource Department and SciTech Business Solutions.
Moved by Brian, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Law Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Phil. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing Lewis County Department of Buildings and Grounds to enter into agreements for plowing of roads to Lewis County Tower sites.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Providing comment to the New York State Department of Conservation on its draft recreation management plan for the Oswegatchie Conservation easement.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion.
I appreciate you doing this, Larry. This is it's pretty absurd in many respects, actually. And Jackie clarified for me today that there's one really unusual situation, but it obviously was nothing that we could do with. But from the town of Diana, if you drive up to Bryant Bridge, you have to have a kayak on the top of your car. But you can go around and go to Belfort, go over Ball Mountain with no restriction. Which is totally weird, but the way Jackie explained it to me, it wasn't part of the state's agreement with the owners of the land, so there was nothing could be done about it. But it was just kind of, it's like, here we go again, you know? I mean, don't they look into this stuff, you know? It just, anyway, thanks for hearing me out. I just had to be frustrated for a minute there. I got cranky, I'll quit.
There's a lot I could say, Phil, but I won't. On top of that, I wouldn't want to take the limelight off of you in the paper, tomorrow's or next day's paper.
Any other comments that can outdo Phil? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between hospital, occupational medicine, recreation, forestry, and parks.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between county and New York State Housing Trust Fund Corporation.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and Berkshire Farm Center and Services for Youth.
Moved by Andrea, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing memorandum of agreement between the DSS and Credo Community Center.
Moved by Rocky, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and Lewis County Opportunities.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and MedLab Incorporated.
Moved by Rocky, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing memorandum of agreement between DSS and Rubenzoll, Knudsen and Associates.
Moved by Phil, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and Rubenzoll, Knudsen and Associates.
Moved by Rocky, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing a memorandum of agreement between DSS and Transitional Living Services.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
To appoint members to Soil and Water Conservation District.
Moved by Phil, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between County and WWNY Channel 7.
Moved by Larry, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing the 2017 Resource Allocation Plan with New York State Office of Children and Family Services.
Moved by Rocky, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Late resolutions, number 42, amending compensation plan with reference to Department of Highways.
Moved by Craig, second by Greg. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Lewis County General Hospital.
Moved by Andrea, second by Rocky. Discussion? Michelle, comments on these appointments? Clinic LPN and the computer systems support technician.
Yep, the clinic LPNs were very understaffed with them. We have a new clinic opening in a couple weeks to bring Dr. Shambo back to do an extended hours clinic, so we're going to that. We're looking to open the school-based health center at South Louis School District in September. We need somebody for that. And we're also going to start using LPMs, try them as scribes to increase productivity of our providers. So we're looking for that as well. In regards to our IT department, we are, compared to other facilities comparable to our size, some of these other hospitals, our size, have up to 24 people in a department. We have 8. They're spread really thin. We need them to do a lot more with, again, with our physicians. We're going to be getting a new telephone system. We need somebody to operate that. So year. So just we're growing.
You got spare time.
Yeah.
Did I hear you say that you're opening a new clinic?
Yep, the 17th of this month, we're having an extended hours clinic. Dr. Shambo is the provider that's going to be operating out of that office. And it's going to be down at the hospital from 1 to 9, Monday through Friday.
Thank you.
And it's pretty much walk-ins, from 1 to 4, we're going to do some appointments, but most of the time it's just walk-ins.
We're in the hospital.
On the second floor where Dr. Ellison's office was.
So it's going to be kind of an urgent care type situation?
No, not really.
No?
Just more convenient care. So again, if your doctor is closed or you don't have a doctor, you just come down with a fever, 7 o'clock at night, you can just go there. Instead of going to the emergency room, we don't want people going to the emergency room unnecessarily having to wait for non-emergent conditions. So I think it's really going to be a nice service for the community.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that information.
Did you advertise that? I
We
don't,
just started today.
started today?
Yeah.
That's great. That'll be a good thing.
Any other questions or comments on the resolution? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Rescinding resolution number 88 of 2011 and establishing and configuring the Lewis County Human Resource Department.
Moved by Larry, second by Rocky. Discussion? Jerry?
Yeah, excuse me, this is kind of a late one. What are we doing to ourselves here? I mean,
Well, let me, if I may, it's late because this morning Jim walked into my office at 8:30 and handed in his resignation quite unexpectedly.
okay.
So, so we were kind of scrambling today to get something in front of you. This is different from what we have today. I talked with Michelle earlier in the day, and we both believe that we need a full-time HR person for both of our staffs. And she's got 700-800 people, we've got 300, and I think you've seen that we're trying to do a lot more with our employees in terms of training, in terms of salaries, and just in terms of how we recruit people. So we're trying to build the overall structure and caliber of our employee base. That said, what this resolution is doing, if you recall today, Jim holds 2 titles. He's the HR director, and he's also the personnel officer. That personnel officer means he's in charge of countywide civil service. What we're proposing is we're actually going to create 2 HR departments. The hospital will have their HR director, and we will have our HR director. However, our HR director will also have the title of personnel officer. You can only have 1 for the entire county. You can't have 2. So that person who, with that title for the county, that's what you're rescinding here is the old structure. Where basically, HR director was a hospital employee, and we contracted with for part-time services. You're agreeing to replace that with a full-time person for the county who will also be the personnel officer in charge of civil service.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Does that negate the person we currently have in civil service?
No. This is just, I mean, we're putting a personnel officer in charge of above Mary Lou's position, as we do today.
Okay, and was this addressed in the budget?
No.
So it's going to have to, you're going to
It's gonna have
find
to
money
come out.
somewhere.
Well, we're gonna have to take it out of contingency.
Well, shouldn't we, correct, weren't we paying the hospital?
Yeah.
So there
So-
should be a savings there. to
Yeah, that's a
cover-
half the salary.
Yeah,
So, yes, you're.
and other expenses, so. that-
Yeah, most of those
We're
expenses
still
are
gonna
gonna
have-
happen regardless. They're-
Thank you.
Other questions?
To Liz?
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't feel that one human resource director can handle both the hospital and the county employees?
I do not, and I'll let Michelle pipe in, but I know.
Michelle?
No, we're struggling, you know, there's so much, we need somebody there a lot more than what we have. And, you know, we always think Jim is here at the county always thinks he's at the hospital, and just things aren't getting done.
I mean, there's corporations across the US that have thousands of employees with one human resource director, maybe assistant director, you know, versus having, you know, 2 HR directors.
I would actually have to argue that in the past 15, 20 years, HR has become an enormously complex area, and most HR departments I'm aware of, at least in the private sector, they've done 2 things. One, they've implemented technology to make the administrative part of HR easier to deal with, but have added a lot of expertise in terms of staffing for all of the regulatory issues and legal issues that now surround the human resource discipline.
And I'd have to say that they're entirely 2 different disciplines.
What?
That the human resources has to do with that animal on the hill, and I don't mean that derogatorily, but that business on the hill is totally different than the
Absolutely.
business here. And I'm sure the turnover up there
I mean,
and the
just-
need for someone
yeah,
on
just the
on campus.
recruiting that
Yeah.
the hospital deals with.
So I can see where there's definitely a need for 2.
Everybody satisfied?
Thank you.
All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with the Village of Carisville and the county's financial contribution to the village's dissolution study costs contingent upon exhaustion of funds from all other sources.
Moved by Larry, second by Phil. Discussion?
I just want to say thanks for doing that. It'll certainly help them in their effort.
Other comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
That concludes resolutions.
Mr. Chairman, before we get to the point of adjournment, there's something I missed I'd like to bring up. I was approached by the president of the Long Pond Snowmobile Club, Mark Miller, and he's asked that we as a board send a letter of support for their grant application for a groomer up in their club. He's servicing a lot of your area. I know they've done this in the past, I think, haven't they, Jackie? Other
Long
clubs?
Pond has never applied for a grant.
Pardon?
Long Pond has never applied
No,
for
but
a grant, but there has been.
There are other clubs that we have sent a letter of support.
That I've sent letters of support.
Yeah, so I don't know if that has to be in the form of the motion, or just let Jackie do it, or
So where are they requesting the letter come from, the board or?
come from the board,
County.
and also one from Recreation. I guess they're looking for, go ahead.
I'll second yours.
Thank you.
Moved by Greg and then second by Jerry. Further comments?
Are you okay with this, Jackie?
Okay,
I'll come back to that.
all in favor of Craig's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Other business. Phil?
I got just a couple of things, Mike, and one thing I neglected to tell you in my initial report of our meeting was that really something significant happened. Liz and I did not argue once. I don't know whether it was the holiday season, but
We didn't see each other.
okay.
I was gonna ask you if Liz was in the room.
The other thing and this is serious. I would like to throw out something to the board here, a concept, and if the board is agreeable to the concept, I further get into this and give you real, more detailed proposal. I brought it up at the Ways and Means meeting. I'd like us to consider offering scholarships to Lewis County citizens only for our JCC Extension College. I'm not visualizing a huge amount of money here. I'm not talking 100,000 or anything like that. But in my mind, I'm thinking maybe we could do something like 20% of their tuition we'd honor. And that would go from a CPR course right up to a certificate course. If that's something that the board thinks it's worth it exploring, I'll be happy to put something together and do it with any of you guys, any and ladies, opinions, and whatever. But I think it would help the college, and it would help our citizens to better themselves by taking these courses. It might make the difference to them, maybe if it's just gas money or something. But I kind of like to get a sense from the board of if you think this is something that we should explore.
How many scholarships do you want to explore?
There would be, by the third year, they're anticipating 441 courses. But like the CPR course is $45. So that would be $9 that would be, that we.
No, but I mean, how many do you think, how many students would you think to give it to?
Anybody from Lewis County only. So the 441 would be, that's everybody. It would probably be half of that, but I would also assume that we would want to cap it. I mean, we couldn't do it forever. And, if we could agree to the concept of it, and then we could move forward to agree to a future amount, if it was $30,000 a year in first come, first serve, or whatever. Again, and Rocky just concurred, we couldn't really go on forever with it, because if they ever start doing credit courses, we're going to have to, it would be a double up anyway, so we can't do that. But the certificate courses are like $3,000, so they could add up quite quickly. So it'd be, again, first come, first serve with a cap. And again, it's wide open. It's just something that I'd like us to consider, and I can throw something out to you, and we can work out the details. If in fact you think it's a good idea to do something like that.
I gotta ask the attorney, does he see problems with that, Joan?
I don't think I'm so sure that the county can, you're essentially giving a gift by a scholarship. So I think in concept we can start to talk about it, but we may have to develop a different way to make it happen, like maybe using a nonprofit or something like that to administer it. So we can talk about the concept, but I don't think the county itself can give scholarships.
We do now.
We reimburse for tuition. We don't give scholarships, but we do
You
reimburse
reimburse.
for partial tuition.
For residents of Lewis County.
That's because of a state regulation.
Mandated, state mandated, so it's okay.
I know,
Good point.
Phil, I know you and I spoke about this, and we have talked about some other ways of doing this, such as with any pilot programs going forward, a portion of that is applied from the IDA to this scholarship fund, and let that be the vehicle by which we accomplish it. But I think it's a great concept, and I think,
Explore it.
yeah, I think it's excellent.
Anybody else? Yep.
Great idea.
My only concern was cap,
Well, I don't know, the article in the paper today, the governor said that, and I don't know if he mentioned a year, but that he's going to offer free tuition to all SUNY students in New York State that are residents.
qualified.
Yeah, qualified.
Yeah, so it probably income qualified.
No, he didn't mention a year.
Wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah.
In 5 counties, I guess.
They'll veto it too.
Or boroughs.
Brian, did you have thoughts on that?
Oh, I think it's a good idea. I mean, like with certificates and stuff, like with CPR and stuff, a lot of your fire departments already pay for their men's training and stuff, but I mean, if with the pilot money or something, we could set something aside or even, you know, help. I mean, if it came to where we had to help the fire departments out, help their people with their certificates, something like that too.
And we
I
can't do
think it's
that
a good
directly.
idea.
We can't do that.
We can't do that directly
So
either, Cecil.
we'll figure
That was
something
kind
out.
of the low hanging, you know, it goes to entrepreneurship, maple production, and even the crafts, actually, if we wanted to.
Bill, you need a couple legislators to sit down and throw out some
Anybody that
ideas
wants to give me ideas, I'll put them together.
run by Joan.
I'll bring that up Thursday too for discussion on our board at the IDA as a way of funding it and being the vehicle by which you deliver it.
Very good.
I'll call you, all right?
Yeah, you call me.
All right. Think about it.
Other business. Any other business come before this board? Now, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Craig, second by Brian. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.